Okay, everyone. I am, I feel much better today. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I woke up to pee a lot, and I did wake up way drier today. The weight is not moving much, but I'm not worried about that. I really care about how I look more than the weight. I just care about making the weight on the day, which I know I will because I am just half a kilo over the weight cap for my height. And there is a possibility that I will like be taller because I'm not sure exactly how tall I am. Because here's the thing with classic physique, obviously you have to be aware of how tall you are, and there was a lot of issues even with the pros because of like their height and their weight, um and their that half inch will make you weigh like 6 or 7 pounds more or less. And then like if you are that half pound um shorter, I mean half inch shorter, you are fucked on the day because you just can't like you know um you can't lose 6 pounds in like an hour. um but what happened was last time I competed, I was 19. They took my height and I was 177 centimeters. Now I know that is not true. There was something wrong there because I never took my, they never, I was never that short. Like, I think the last time I saw 170 something, I was in high school, on my height. Um, in hospitals, my height is 180, 181. Uh, Coach says, when you are dehydrated and you lose uh the water and the fat, you're a little bit shorter. And yes, I know, I agree, and I think that's true, and there's scientific evidence behind that, but I don't think it's as far as 2 inches. I think it's half an inch. And where I am with my height, it doesn't really make a difference if I am 181 centimeters or 179 centimeters, but it does make a difference if I am 181 or 177, because that is a big, massive gap of 4 centimeters, and I can weigh like 6 pounds more if I am if I'm taller than 177. Um, So if I'm 178, I can weigh 93.5 kilo. When if I'm this height that they measured last time, I can weigh 91.5. The thing is, though, I will admit, the last time I competed, it wasn't the NPC. It's my first time doing an NPC show, so we'll see how it goes. Um, Second thing, I did not do my cardio fasted today. My cardio was done on the treadmill just last session, felt great. I produced more sweat than I did doing it on the Stairmaster, which is funny, but that tells me that I am losing a lot of water, which is good because I was like a water buffalo on Saturday and Sunday because of like the stress that I went through the previous week. And it's not related to, well, part of it is the prep, but mostly it's personal issues. Um, and that just tells me that yes, I'm doing it right. Like pulling back is the right thing to do, and I feel more confident. You can even see my face is a little bit less puffy today. Even holding the camera down here, it's less puffy, and like holding it up, you can see my face is coming in uh much better. But what I'm gonna do now is I will have my second meal. I also did, by the way, before I get into my second meal, I also did 3 rounds of posing, and I did some vacuum practice. And guys, the thing is with classic physique is it, we are not open bodybuilders. So yes, while size is an important factor in classic physique because it's still bodybuilding, but it's more of your aesthetic and your look. You're trying to combine the, masculine, you know, beach look of the physique category with the size and masculinity and vascularity and hardness of the bodybuilding category. Um, so, you know, it's in my opinion, that's why I love classic physique so much because classic physique is, in my opinion, it's art. Okay, you have to be, in my opinion, again, I'm a rookie. I'm 21 years old. I know nothing, but in my opinion, you can maybe get away with being a little bit not as balanced in certain body parts when you're talking about open bodybuilding. Like, you can still win because, oh, look at his back, like his back is amazing, but it's like really overpowering his chest. While in classic physique, you're trying to look so complete, but you're not as big, but you're prettier at the same time. That's how I view it, and that's why I love it so much. So, moral is controlling the waist and the vacuum. I know I'm not gonna be the biggest guy. I know I am not gonna be the most experienced guy. I know I'm not gonna be possibly the most conditioned either. Maybe I will. We'll still see because the last two times I competed, I was so lean, the leanest person on stage, but again, it was a different federation, so I'm not counting that. Um, and even the feedback that I got was I was too lean for those federations that I competed in. Um, Even though I did win the drug tested federation WMBF heavyweights, as I mentioned before. But uh, I know that I'm not going to be the most experienced, but I do know that I have a nice vacuum. I have a good balance between my legs and my arms. And that's what I plan on using on stage because yes, we spend all these months eating and building muscle, and then we spend all these weeks dieting and cutting down and training and doing cardio. But what matters is on the day of the show, how you display your physique. What matters is your confidence on those 10 to 15 minutes that you're on stage being compared, and how you breathe and how you flex and how you hit the pose and how you hold it. That's what matters. That's why I'm taking this very, very seriously because with studying, and right now I'm in the summer, I don't have any lectures, but with lectures and work and training and dieting and meal prepping and living alone, me and my partner doing everything by ourselves with no family around, it was very hard for me to invest any time in posing and in like these little, I call them little now, when I mentioned they are very important, but I did not have the opportunity to invest the time in these things. That's why this past 2 weeks I've been really trying to dial it in as much as I can. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm not gonna show you much of the food because the food is exactly the same as yesterday. Nothing has changed. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna have my shake, which is the yogurt and whey isolate and peanut butter shake, and then I am going to take a nap because I do feel that I wanna sleep, which is good. But again, I did not sleep much last night, and I still feel a little bit better. Overall, I feel better, but I just feel like I need a nap. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have that meal, I'm gonna have a nap, and when I wake up for the nap, I'm gonna have a meeting with my professor, who's gonna assign me some more things to do in the research project we're working on, and then I'm gonna probably have another meal, and I'm gonna do some research project work, and then we'll see what we're gonna do from there. But the goal of this video today is to show you how I'm gonna put together my um, pump up routine backstage and more posing and posing practice. So I'll be practicing posing here a lot today, and I'll be showing you how it is. Everything else stays the same. I'm still gonna shower, I'm still gonna scrub my skin like I did yesterday and moisturize, and the food is the same. And we'll see how the day goes. Okay, everyone, so I finally finished some work on the project. I feel very tired, even though I did take a nap. So here's what's gonna happen. Um, I am. How many meals did I eat? I ate 3 meals so far. So I ate the salmon meal. I drank one of my shakes with the yogurt and peanut butter, and I had the beef mince meal. What's gonna happen now is I'm gonna have a cup of tea, um, and then I'm going to get into my trunks and I will get into posing. I will probably show you a little bit of my individual posing routine as well. I'm not gonna emphasize training on my routine as much because it's not judged. And it's supposed to be natural and it's supposed to be you having fun. Um, but I will be practicing it more as I slowly start carving up and getting a little bit of life into me again. So I will have the cup of tea, I'll get into my trunks, I'll do some poses, and I'll do a voiceover, and we will speak a little bit like we did yesterday during my push session. We're gonna speak through certain things, what I do, why I do them, my rationale behind it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the vlog. We are almost done with five days out, and we're soon gonna be 4 days out. I'm so excited. Okay, everyone, so I'm back again here. Again, I'm using the same headphones that I found attached to my MacBook. Hopefully I'll be able to buy a better microphone soon. I hope the sound is not that bad. Now, right here, as I mentioned, I was just practicing what I would do backstage to pump up. Now, looking at this and analyzing it again, I feel like it's such a bad timing for many reasons to practice the pump up and posing. One, it was 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. and I will, based on the competition schedule, I'm supposed to step on stage at 10 a.m. Secondly, I'm 5 liters of water deep, and usually on stage I'm gonna be dehydrated and it will be much harder because I wouldn't have that much water. Now, on the other hand, I've managed to put together something that works for myself. And as you can see, I started off with the arms. The reason being is I think my arms need just one set of 10 reps based on this trial that I've just did. All I needed to do was 10 reps of hammer curls on each hand and 10 reps of tricep extensions on each hand. The reason for this is because I want to pump up my shoulders my chest and my back. And all the motions, as you can see, involve the hands. So my hands are gonna get pumped up more with the push-ups. My biceps are gonna get pumped up more when I do my rows that you're gonna see soon. So there is no need for me to emphasize and put a lot of like stress on the arms, because I don't want to lose the detail in the arms. When you are in the gym and you get a pump, the pump that you get, that nasty pump that is so good that everyone loves, that is a pump that you don't want on stage, because you want to be able to flex the muscle. You want the muscle to look, you want the muscle to appear to look bigger, but you also want to keep the striations and the details that you have. If you like push the limits and just like use or try and get a pump like the one you get in the gym, what's gonna happen is the water that's inside the muscle is not gonna be enough, and your body is going to try and recruit water to surround that muscle and cover it up. Now, backstage, you're not gonna have that water in your body because you're gonna be dehydrated, and there will be no water in your body besides the little bit of water that's inside the muscle itself. Unfortunately, the opposite is gonna happen there, where the muscle is just gonna go flat, and there will be no like pump at all, and you won't be able to see the detail. So right here you can see that I required around 2 sets of push-ups. I also required 2 sets of rows. You're gonna see me experimenting with certain versions of rows, because I just felt like I couldn't really feel my lat on the first try, on my first attempt. So I tried my best to try a couple of different variations, and I figured the one that works the best for me, where I feel the most contraction. So here I was trying the single arm one because I felt like using both hands was very light, but then I moved into or decided to bend the band in half, so the band is twice as heavy, and you know, row using that version of or weight of the band. This whole scenario took me around 10 minutes. I can't really remember. I'm sure I will show it later on, but I think it took me 10 minutes, and this is like how much it should take you to pump up. It shouldn't take you long at all. If you need more than 10 minutes to pump up backstage, you are not gonna get a pump, because that means you've done something wrong. Either you have dehydrated too much, or you are very flat, or you have an electrolyte imbalance. Your sodium or potassium are not like they're out of whack. The second reason why you don't want to spend longer than 10 minutes doing all that stuff is because you have to remember that you are going out on stage and you are posing for at least 10 minutes, if not 15 minutes. If we consider there is 12 mandatory poses, so your front leg relaxed, your side, your quarter turns, and then your back relaxed, and then you have your front double bicep, front lat spread, you have your back lat spread, back double bicep, and then you have your side chest and side tricep, and then you have your abs and thighs, and then depending on whether you're doing bodybuilding or classic physique, you might also have to do the most muscular. So that's 12 poses. If we assume that we're holding each pose for 10 to 15 seconds, that's how much the judges are going to make you hold the poses, then we are going to be posing for a total of 3 minutes per round, or 2.5 minutes per round. Now, 2.5 minutes per round is not that much if you think about it, but you're gonna do at least 2, 3, maybe 4 rounds. So you have to keep that in mind. Here you can see it took me exactly 9 minutes. I timed it, and here I have just a plan of how many sets and how many reps of the things I did, so that I can remember them and do the exact same thing on the day. Right here I've started my posing, or I've started to pose, as you can see. So I'm not an expert and I'm not a pro, and like, if you think that what I'm saying is bullshit, then I apologize, but it's what works for me. My coach, he's not a bullshitter. He will let me know if things are if I'm like doing something bad. He will fix it. He will ask me to fix it, and he will not compliment me for no reason. So I get compliments on my posing for the most part. The front relaxed. What I try to do is I try to sit back on my heels, dig my heels down in the ground, and I slightly bent my knee, as you can see here. Okay, now what that does is it really helps bring up the detail in your quads, in your upper quads. So the detail, and I know you can't see it really well because the lighting is not the best, and again, it's 7 p.m. and I'm retaining a lot of water, as I'm going to mention later on in this video about my body and my genetics. I tend to be a water buffalo and retain a lot of water during the day. Like, I'll wake up at, I don't know, like 92 kilo, and by the end of the day I will step on scale before going to bed at like 98 kilo. So I will gain 6 kilo over the course of the day of eating and drinking, and I'm not even eating, or like, I'm not even bulking. Like, this is just my genetics. I can't do anything about it. But what matters is the day of the show, the timing of the show, when I step on stage. So again, that will really help bring up the detail in your quads, as I was saying. Then for the quarter turns, what I like to do to make or to look professional, and I've learned this from my coach Vinny Crane, who's an IFBB Classic Physique Pro. He told me to always kick your right leg behind your left heel and just twist, as you can see there, what I'm doing with my legs there. This will allow you to stay in the same little box, so that you're not pushing, the person next to you, and you don't have to, like, get all that beefy and grimsy with the person next to you. And at the same time, it looks professional. It's one little, like, motion, and that's what the judges want to see. They want to see controlled motions. The midsection, your stomach and your breathing, very, very, very important. It takes a lot of practice, and I mean a lot of practice. And one thing I'm really proud of and really good at is practicing my vacuums. You have to really control your midsection. I was someone eating 6,000 calories in my peak off season, and eating that much food and guzzling 4 or 5 liters of water every day, and I was still pulling a vacuum. You have to do that in order to be able to control your stomach on stage. And when you're breathing in the while, like after you hit a pose, for example the side chest here, when I'm breathing, you can't really see it because of the angle and the lighting is shit, but I am breathing into my, like, basically you're breathing apically. You're breathing into your top or upper half of your lung, your upper lobes, if I can call them that, and you are trying to really, like, just not suck the air into your stomach. And don't be afraid to breathe loudly, because this is something that I personally in my first show had a problem with. I thought, like, if my breathing was loud, that's not a good thing. You can breathe loudly. The judges are not gonna hear you breathing. Like, most likely the person next to you is the person who's gonna hear you breathing, and it doesn't matter. Like, he's not the one judging you, and like, it doesn't impact you, your placing, and how you're judged. So if you can breathe loudly, if it helps you control your midsection, then do it. For the abs and thighs, this is the biggest and most trickiest one for me to control my breathing in, because as you can see, I try to pull a vacuum at the end of it, and at the same time, when you're trying to crunch down on your abs and breathe at the same time, it's the most difficult. So what I try to do is I try to kick one leg out, as you saw, and I sit back on my glutes, as if, like, there is, you know, when you're in like a bus or on like some kind of public transport, where there's like these places that you can lean your butt on that are not chairs, because there is no chairs. It's like to kind of minimize the amount of chairs, because chairs take up more space. It's the same concept. So I lean back slightly, as if like I'm sitting on this thing, and what I try to do is I crunch down and I breathe, again, apically only. And what I found what really helps is kicking my neck back to give that like extra volume into my like throat, which helps me get in a little bit of more air. Really helps. And basically from there on, it's just a matter of building endurance. So once you've not mastered, because I believe that like you posing is just like another art. Like I look at some of the legends, nowadays legends in posing, like Rough Diesel and all these other fancy posers who are extremely talented, and I think that, like, man, I still got a long way to go. But anyway, once you find the pose, once you hit the pose in the way that you like, and you that's how you're gonna hit it on stage, what you try to do then is you basically just try to build endurance, hold it for longer. Once you hold it for longer, try and go for multiple rounds without resting. In the best case scenario, or like at best, you're gonna be compared, you're gonna do 2 rounds, right? They're gonna do 1 round, and then the judges are gonna make up their minds, and they're gonna have you in the first call out, and you're gonna be standing there next to 2 other guys, or 3 other guys, or 4 other guys. Either you guys are gonna be the top 3, top 4, or top 5, and they're gonna compare you one last time, and that's it. But
if you are in a lineup where it's very close and the judges can't make up their mind, they're gonna keep going. And whoever gets tired and whoever starts to fade away and whoever doesn't control their breathing is the person that's gonna slowly start moving down in placings. And you don't want to be that person. You don't want to step on stage, first or second place, and slowly start sliding down third and fourth because you're sweating and you're breathing and you're puffing and you're not controlling, you're shaking and you're posing. You don't want to be that person. So what I try to do, or what I've been doing the past month, is I started off with 2 rounds of posing fasted, and I've slowly built up. Right now, in my peak week that I've pulled back on my cardio and my training, I try to do 3 rounds of poses, posing fasted, as you saw in the beginning of the video, and then I do 3 rounds midday, and then I do 3 rounds before bed or in the evening time, which is the one that you're seeing right now. And that's 9 rounds a day in different times of the day, with different amounts of food and different amounts of fluid.
Okay, everyone, so I'm done posing for the day today. Posing is tiring, especially when you are not really eating any carbs. But I I look better, and I am very watery at the moment. I know a lot of you are gonna see this and be like, "Oh man, like your hamstrings and glutes are like still 4 or 5 weeks out." And yes, I know that's unfortunate. That's just genetically how my body is. I get extremely watery quickly. This morning I was very, very dry, and I weighed in at the same weight, 92. But I was, I did my cardio, and obviously I had a stressful evening, um, 3 hours of work and research and meetings, and I drank like, I'm 5.5 liters in so far, and I still have 1 more liter to go. Um, and my coffee stays and tea stays constant, so I don't count that as water. And I also don't count the water that I add to food. So, for example, my shake that I do with whey and Greek yogurt, I just put the same amount. I don't even measure that. Um, but yeah, so I tend to lose a lot of water overnight. So I'm someone who wakes up, meh, 7, 8 times to pee, and I will lose literally like minimum 8, 9 pounds overnight. Minimum. Um, just to give you an idea, if I step on the scale right now, it will read 97 or 98 kilo. And I weighed in at 92 this morning. So I know my body, my coach knows my body. It's currently 7 p.m. I've been awake, as I said, for 12 hours. But that's not the point that I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and shower and scrub and shave again, shave the rest of the body again, and then it will be time for meal number four. Um, I did not film the routine because I looked at the footage that I filmed and it was like, I don't know, I think it was like 7 minutes and 4 minutes and another like 9 minutes of pumping up. So there's like 20 minutes of footage there, and then there's like all the bits I filmed this morning and earlier today, and then there's still a bit of footage that I'm gonna film, so I don't want the vlog to be an hour long. And also that leaves a little bit of content that you didn't see that I can show you tomorrow or the following day or whenever. But I'm gonna go now, shave, get scrubbed, and then eat, and then we will see what we'll do. Okay, everyone. So, um, the skin routine has been accomplished. I am very red at the moment because I scrubbed too hard, I think. But by the way, don't mind the hair, and I know the mustache sucks. I will get the mustache done, and I'll get a haircut done on Friday. So stay tuned for that. But um, it's 8 p.m. at the moment, and I still have two more meals. I'm gonna eat one right now, and then the last one is again the shake, Greek yogurt, whey protein, and 40 grams of peanut butter. Uh, I will swap the peanut butter for almond butter this time because I'm bored and I want to change the flavor, and it doesn't really matter. Um, and Vinny, if you're watching this, I know you wrote peanut butter, but I'm sure almond butter doesn't really make a big difference, maybe. Um, but now what I'm gonna do is I will cut the video here. So I will edit this video and I will post it tomorrow at 4 days out while I film the 4 day out video. So I will see you on the next one.